This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Tuesday morning to you. It is a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, Sirius XM Channel 158. Where does it end? We don't care how you take us in. We just appreciate that you do. It's Gil Alexander. That's Kelly Bidlin, my little buddy, everybody, alongside.
Hey,
Down to what weight now?
224.
Ooh, a little bounce up.
Little tick up, Gil.
A little tick up.
Little tick up.
Uh-oh. Trying to get to 216 for the full 100 down. The weight loss journey continues. On the show today, Drew Dinsick will join us from the Deep Dive and Bet the Edge podcast, talk National Football League with us. Maybe he's playing some tennis in Seoul, Korea. I know I did over the weekend, though I didn't have anything to overnight this past evening. We'll see if Drew does. Baseball, Mark Borchard, Paul Sporer. We're doing them both. Jeff Erickson, senior editor, RotoWire, founder of RotoWire, talk NFL player props with us as well. Tyler Shoemaker, WNBA playoffs, game twos tonight. You say game twos or games two? What do you say?
Oh, I have this argument all the time.
I hate when people say games two.
Unfortunately, I think it's both of them are actually accurate. You can use them interchangeably, but yeah, who says games two?
Who says that?
Nobody
Ron
says
Flatter says that.
It's like when people would try to say like the Miami Heat is instead of the Miami Heat are. You're like, come on, man. I know that's right.
Kills me.
The lady's screaming downstairs. He's like, that's right. Write it that way.
Stop properly conjugating that noun or whatever we're doing with the verb there. Okay, a little later on as well, we will talk. Actually, not later on, but this hour, we will start with Survivor Talk Week 3. Yes.
Let's go.
By popular demand. People seem to enjoy that breakdown last week. Here are the big favorites, the teams that I am not considering playing. Here are the teams I am considering playing. All 6 through into Week 3. And by the way, Survivor stats, just to lay that out before we get there, and we'll get to the actual numbers a little later on, but still less than 10% out, even after last night, after Week 2 in the National Football League. Speaking of last night...
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that ticked up a little bit, right? We have a couple entries in?
Oh, yeah, because 100-plus people had the Texans last night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm a little shocked by that.
I mean, it's not a tremendous amount, but it's still not a negligible amount.
Yeah.
It's not like the one that got knocked out with the Raiders last night.
Right.
As far as those 2 games last night, I went into yesterday saying, you couldn't have picked 4 teams I have less of a feeling for. Well, I got a feeling, we'll do NFL power rankings later too. Mm-hmm. Got a feeling for the winning teams last night now, that's for sure. I still don't know what I'm looking at with the Texans and the Raiders, in case you missed it. In what was kind of you don't want to complain because we wait all year for football, and I certainly don't want to be that guy. It's kind of a ho-hum doubleheader last night as it turned out. Tampa Bay at Houston was interesting. Tampa Bay goes to 2-0. Houston goes to 0-2. Tampa Bay with the late game heroics again for the second straight week. Remember, they did it against Atlanta in Week 1, and Baker Mayfield did his thing again here at the end of this one against the Texans. This was a game where the first 4 drives resulted in scores. Tampa up 14-10, and you're like, well, this game's going to soar over.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, not so much. Not so much. Then there wasn't any scoring again until the fourth quarter. It was pretty incredible. It was a punt fest. The only times teams got close to scoring, Tampa Bay, McLaughlin doinked a 38-yard field goal try off the right upright late third quarter. And then the ensuing drive, Houston matriculated it down the field, got it to 2nd and goal at the 1. You remember this sequence. Chubb stuffed at the 1. Chubb stuffed for no gain on 2nd, Incomplete intended for Collins, right far corner of the end zone on 3rd. And then incomplete intended for Collins, the left far corner of the end zone, the left near corner of the end zone, deep corner, I should say, on 4th. 2 horrible plays where the ball had absolutely no chance of getting into Nico Collins' hands on either 3rd or 4th down. Mm-hmm. So it remained 14-10 all the way into the 4th quarter where, on a short field, Houston ended up getting the ball at the Tampa Bay 35 after a punt was blocked by Jakob Johnson. And they still couldn't do anything, 3 and out, after Stroud threw it right to Levante David, by the way, and he dropped it. So they got a Fairbairn 53-yard field goal at that point, right? So it's 14-13 Houston. Houston's done nothing all game. Then Tampa has a 3-and-out, and they have to punt. And this really, the play of the game could have been this one, which is Tampa punts it away up a point. We're talking late fourth quarter now. And Jalen Knoll of the Texans goes 50 yards. But there's a flag on the field.
Of course.
Flag on the field because I'll get the license plates on here. Tremon Smith blocked Josh Downs in the back right behind Knoll. Or right where he was. And Dare Ogunbowale blocked Ryan Miller behind the back, probably later in that return.
Not Scotty Miller.
No, not Scotty Miller, though. As you said, they might as well be the same person. Kelly texted me tonight. Ryan Miller, Scotty Miller, doesn't really matter. Mike Miller, all the same. Anyway, they picked up the flag. And I don't really know why. The official consultant, the officiating consultant, I always forget who the officiating consultant was. Was it Terry McCauley or somebody else? I don't know. Anyway, they're like, oh, yeah, that's proper that they picked up those flags. And Troy Aikman appropriately right at that moment goes, I don't know. I've seen a lot less called than that.
Yeah.
So Houston just gets this unbelievable break where they pick up the flags. They just sort of, brushed it aside. And then Houston, for the one time, they set up at the Tampa Bay 26, second play, Chubb in for 25, and all of a sudden, Houston is winning this game 19-14, two-point conversion, no good. Tampa Bay takes over at their own 20 with 2:04 left, now needing a touchdown. All their timeouts and the 2-minute warning. It's 3rd and 10 at their own 32. Baker off of Igbuka's hands downfield, and then 4th and 10, right? It's going to be the last play of the game. Well, they got the 3 timeouts, so maybe not the last play. Baker escapes for 15 yards. 2 plays later, Baker to Irving for 22. Great run after the catch. Down to the Houston 23 with 42 seconds left. Remember, Kelly, they had plenty of timeouts here. To Irving for 5. 34 seconds left. Goes out of bounds. To Evans for 11 down to the 7. 1st and goal. Clock. Tick, 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 tick. Not using any of their timeouts. They get it to Otten for 5 to the 2 with 9 seconds left. Never used a timeout here.
Yep.
2nd and goal at the 2. White in. Touchdown. 6 seconds left. 2-point conversion fails. Got to be careful about that 2-point conversion. You don't want the 2-point return. That would have been a disaster. And nothing happens on the ensuing kickoff. So Tampa Bay with the dramatics. Baker Mayfield does it again. And people had a little trouble with the clock management at the end with Tampa Bay. That's why I bring it up. And I agree that they probably optimally would have had a few more seconds left. They probably should have made sure that if it didn't work out on 2nd down, that they could have had 2 more opportunities the way they did it. They probably only had the 2nd and the 3rd down with 9 seconds left, maybe. But I would say this in response to that, which is you don't want that many more seconds left on the clock,
right,
because how many times have we seen now in the NFL? You only need 20 seconds and a team will matriculate from to field goal range.
I mean, especially nowadays,
yes.
Right? I mean, where it feels like every one of these kickoffs is starting at, and you need, and if you have a Brandon Aubrey on your team, maybe you need 5 yards.
So we can quibble about that, but I don't think it was the most egregious. I mean, some people think it was perfectly played. And as far as the second game,
I think it was near perfectly played.
I do too.
Yeah.
Maybe with the exception of a few seconds, but that's it.
You're right. It might have cost them a down, and that would not have been ideal if it got to that point. But
not the worst gaffe in the world. Second game, even more ho-hum than that one. Chargers won this 20-9 here at Allegiant against Vegas. If there were, I think Todd Wishnev said this after the game. He said if there were 8 more quarters, the Raiders still couldn't have caught them.
No,
it was just a game where it didn't look like Geno was on. He looked off the whole game. When there weren't picks, there were near picks.
In fact, I think this is one of about 7 games I feel like we've already had this year, Gil, where it's like this is a misleading score. This is a much bigger blowout than 20-9.
The only thing I want to point out here is that Jim Harbaugh did do some weird stuff on 4th down. It was 17-6 this is when I'm going to get the exact time right. So 17-6 in the 3rd quarter. The Chargers had a 4th and 2 at the Raiders 30. Herbert goes to Allen for 25 to the 5. The Raiders make a stand. And on 4th and goal, up 11, you can pin the Raiders back there if you don't get this. Jim Harbaugh goes, yeah, we'll take the Cameron Dicker 25-yard field goal to make it 20-6, right? Chip shot. Then later, after it got cut to 20-9 on an 18, the second half was the Chargers used the first 7:30 of the 3rd quarter, and then the Raiders had an 18-play drive of 11 minutes and 15 seconds that resulted in a Carlson 37-yard field goal. It was just comical, right, to cut it to 20-9. And at that point, right, Herbert and Darius Davis botched that exchange on 4th and 1 at midfield. Right, remember he did the chip shot Cameron Dicker field goal, went conservative. At 4th and 1 at midfield, you're up 11. The Raiders really can't do anything. They're not scaring you at all. Harbaugh decides to go for it, and they botch a handoff, and the Raiders end up with the ball. Raiders couldn't do anything with it, by the way, because Geno was picked off on a Karen by Dante Jackson, and then the next time the Raiders had the ball, Geno was sacked on 4th down, and then the following time when the Raiders had the ball after another Chargers non-scoring drive, Geno on 4th down just threw it out of bounds.
Yeah.
And you're just like, well, that's a fitting end to this game.
I'm okay with that 4th down by the Chargers. Some of these are, I feel like a lot of that gets built up into the Harbaugh Pete Carroll feud or what. I don't even know how we're trying to make this like a rivalry again, but I just don't really care. But like in that situation, I kind of like, okay, you get it. The game's basically over, right? You're running clock. That's kind of the end of things. I'm okay with it there. You're up 11. Like, I don't really know it's going to backfire too much.
Right, but the issue is the inconsistency. The issue is if you're going to kick a 20-yard field goal and not try to punch it in there, then why are you going for it?
I can't argue on that.
I mean, that's all I'm saying. Anyway, I'll just say this. Chargers, really good. Tampa Bay, got to start thinking of them in a different tier, I think. But do you have any feel for either of the Raiders or the Texans at this point, especially the Texans?
I want to talk more about. I think I want to talk about all 4 of these teams more on the other side because I think all of them are interesting. The Texans, though,
they're the most perplexing of the bunch today.
It's just the offensive line problems, and it's just so tough when you knew coming into the year that was going to be an issue.
You know how you talk about dead over teams?
Dead under.
They might be the dead under team. Yeah. More on that and the quarterback carousel next.
If you're serious about football betting, VSiN's got your weekend game plan. Fridays at 7 p.m., it's the Circa Friday Football Invitational. Saturday morning, VSiN's college football tailgate show at 9 a.m., breaking down matchups, props, and big-time bets. Later that night, join the football contest show as the sharpest betting minds give you their picks for Sunday's game. And Sunday at 9 a.m., lock in with Mitch and Paulie on VSiN's Pro Football Tailgate Show. Your final stop before kickoff. Check out the full lineup at VSiN.com and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah, came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it, it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
Coming up on the next edition of Follow the Money, we recap the doubleheader in the NFL and look ahead to all the injuries and line movement. It's Tip Jar. Mitch and Paulie's Pizzeria is open. Send them in. Paul Stone to give out his best bets in college football. And Derek Stevens to talk contests and a big winner over the weekend here at Circa. Follow the Money 4 to 7 Eastern on VSiN. The Sports Betting Network, now Sirius XM Channel 158. Check out the website for all the betting tools and analysis. Or get the VSiN Watch app.
Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Want to bet smarter? Start with smarter insights. You can also smart with starter insights. That works too. Right now, you can check out college football and NFL betting hubs for all your resources in one place. Zach Cohen's weekend wrap, Adam Burke's updated college football power ratings, and later today, you can check out Tyler Shoemaker's early week NFL picks, Josh Applebaum's early Week 4 college sharp report, Steve McKinnon's Week 4 college football analytics report. Right now, you can sign up for as little as $9.99 to access all the VSiN Pro articles. Just head to VSiN.com/subscribe to sign up today. Gil Alexander, Kelly Bidlin, producer number 9, so much more than a producer. Before we get into the quarterback carousel that took place yesterday, you wanted to say something about these 4 teams last night that you didn't get to?
Well, yeah, just kind of running through each one of them. I mean, the Bucs Texans. So Texans, I think we hit on it. Like, the defense is great. Nico Collins is awesome. They're clearly forcing the ball to him as much as they can, but like between the offensive line, they can't get a run game going. Even when Nick Chubb hit open field last night, you're like, Nick Chubb's running like a 5.3 40 these days. Like it is. There's not much there. I think they got major offensive problems. This AFC South is probably more open than I thought it was heading into the season. The Bucs just continue to impress, man. Baker Mayfield he's awesome.
He's awesome.
He's awesome to watch. You got Mike Evans. That defense has played well enough, I guess, so far. They were one of the defenses I was concerned about heading into the season, but that offense has got firepower. And then the other game, like the Raiders are a disaster. I think when we talk like offensive rookie of the year, this was always my concern with Ashton Genty. It's just, are they going to be good enough that he can carry the ball enough times to get enough yards?
I said it before the draft. Are the Raiders good enough to make a running back the 6th pick in the draft? And our running backs, listen, he may turn out to be great, but unless you're Saquon or Derrick Henry, they're kind of all interchangeable at a certain point. And we'll find out if Genty is one of the interchangeables.
I don't want to say anybody sat here and said he was Saquon Barkley, but oh boy, we heard a lot of you just can't pass up on a generational talent like that. We heard a lot of that before the draft.
My line was, I love him I love him as much as anybody in college. I had a bet on him in the Heisman. Have friends in Boise, so I was locked into Ashton Genty. But at no point did I watch him in college and be like, gonna be a phenomenal pro.
Right.
We'll see.
And then the Chargers, lastly, man, I think like I think you have to upgrade, at least for me, I have to upgrade Chargers and Bucks from both where they were at. I still have a longer term belief in the Bucks than the Chargers. Like each game so far, there's like the Chargers can't run the ball. What's up with that? You know, like that's been a problem so far this season.
Don't really try that much. It doesn't feel like.
There's also that going on. So
they're another one, by the way. They drafted Omarion Hampton in the first round and don't use him all that much. Feels like.
Yeah, you had Herbert led the team in rushing last night, 9 for 31. Najee Harris 8 for 28, and Hampton 8 for 24.
Right. So I mean, again, running backs as a position is a funny thing to draft first round these days.
Yeah, I mean, and that division's tough. I can't, we're going to get to our power rankings later. I can't get to Chargers clear-cut favorite in the AFC West, and it makes sense to me yet.
Yeah, but with each passing week, it's kind of feeling that way more and more than it ever has. So when we went to 3 hours, I don't know if you guys know this, we do 3 hours here on the Numbers Game. Kelly, are you aware of that? We do 3 hours now? When we used to do 2 hours, we used to get off air at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and what we were told, this is my second Ron Flatter reference of the day already. Ron, who was our adult supervision here at VSiN for many years, used to say, well, Gil, you know why you guys never get the breaking news? And he said it like that, by the way, like Les Nessman from WKRP. I was like, no, Ron, why? And he said, because the news cycle begins at noon Eastern. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So we thought we'd get an extra hour. We'd have the news come down while we were on the air. No, yesterday, right as we got off air, right? They wait an hour. And sure enough, then we find out a couple bits of information, one of which is, hey, remember that hit that Jaden Daniels took late in that Packers game? And I remember texting the group exchange at that point, but I hope he's not more hurt than he's letting on, right? He got his knee wrenched. Turns out he's got a knee sprain day to day. Commander's still not letting us know if Jaden Daniels is going to play this Sunday against the Raiders or not. If not, it will be Marcus Mariota. That's the Tarico pronunciation, Mariota, the Hawaiian pronunciation. And then we find out that, hey, with the Vikings, that J.J. McCarthy woke up with a bunch of soreness. Turns out he has a high ankle sprain, and he is out for the Vikings-Bengals game this weekend. So Carson Wentz is in. Wentz, Browning, Vikings, Bengals, CBS. catch the fever.
Get your tickets now.
So anyway, the thing, and by the way, we already know Justin Fields is a concussion protocol. So there's 4 teams now where we could have backup quarterbacks playing. Let's, without doing the thing that everybody does where, some of these guys, for whatever reason, you say their names and it elicits laughter, right? Oh, Carson Wentz, Carson Wentz, right? Marcus Mariota, Carson Mariota, Marcus Mariota. Let's just actually do the responsible thing and go through just some numbers. So as far as the Vikings-Bengals game this weekend, again, CBS. Jake Browning, as we mentioned yesterday, who we correctly said, the Bengals aren't bringing in anybody of note. They're going with Jake Browning. And by the way, they did bring up Sean Clifford. They signed Sean Clifford and then Mike White. Mike White to the practice squad, was it?
Yeah, 2 additions today, both to the practice squad, yes.
But it will be Jake Browning. So Jake Browning, once again, last year... not last year, 2 years ago, the most action he saw, remember, was the last Joe Burrow major injury. 2 years ago, he went 4-3 as a starter, 12 touchdowns, 7 picks, and a 60.8 QBR, which Joe Burrow's only eclipsed once in his career, should be pointed out. Last week, Jake Browning, in relief of Burrow, 21 of 32 for 241 against the Broncos, that vaunted Broncos defense, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. Not great, not terrible either. And by the way, that long stretch that he played in 2023 was pretty darn solid. Carson Wentz, who he'll be taking on, Bengals will be taking on the Vikings, but quarterback versus quarterback. Carson Wentz, who elicits laughter these days. Well, okay, let's think about the last time we saw Carson Wentz. There was the final game of the season for the Chiefs last year. Remember, they were 15-1, so this game didn't matter at all. He wasn't good at Denver. 10 of 17 for 98. And he was sacked 4 times. No touchdowns, no picks. A 19.1 QBR. That's scored out of 100. However, the year before that, similar situation because it was the last game of the year, but a game of major consequence to the Rams. He ended up helming the game that clinched the 6th seed for the LA Rams. He was 17 of 24 against the Niners for 163 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. He was sacked twice. Had a touchdown. On the ground as well. So, again, not necessarily against the best of the Niners, but he comported himself well. The last time he's had an actual long stretch where he started games was the year before that. So not Kansas City last year, not the Rams the year before, but with Washington. One of these ridiculous Daniel Snyder signings, right?
Yeah.
172 for 276 for 1,755 yards. That's half a season, basically, he played. 8 games, I believe it was. 11 touchdowns against 9 picks, but he took 26 sacks. That's his bugaboo, right? 34.4 QBR, again, scored out of 100. So no one's saying Carson Wentz is great, but maybe not as horrific as you might remember him the post-injury part of his career.
100%. And can we talk about this with the line movement of this game? So we hit on this yesterday because we knew about Browning yesterday when we were sitting here.
And I took the Bengals anyway, plus the points before we knew
So
this.
Look ahead line last week, Cincinnati 1.5 point favorites, okay? You bet it at what, 4.5?
4.5.
4.5. So we're on air yesterday.
4.5 or 3.5. I can't even remember anymore. Let me look.
I think. Okay. It was moving while we were on air back towards Cincinnati.
3.5. 3.5.
3.5. Okay, but it was. We saw 4s. We saw 4s when we were on the air. So 4. I was jealous of you. By the time I think I got home, it was basically 3, and then the Wentz news comes down. But this goes to 3 now. And there's even 1 2.5 out there over at FanDuel and Boyd. I heard someone else say this yesterday, and I don't remember who it was. Completely agree, though. Is there that big of a difference right now between J.J. McCarthy and Carson Wentz?
I don't think so.
Do we know that for sure?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
So I guess my point is, I feel like you got the best of it with the Bengals, and now the line might have moved too far back against the Vikings.
The other two... let's say we don't know that Jaden Daniels isn't playing yet for Washington. That's not confirmed yet from Dan Quinn and company. But if it is Marcus Mariota last year got into 2 games. Daniels had a rib injury versus Carolina. Mariota came in 18 of 23 for 205, 2 touchdowns, no picks. And the other one, where Daniels had some leg soreness last game of the year at Dallas, 15 of 18 for 161, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 5 carries for 56 yards and a touchdown. Mariota was great.
He was awesome in that game, yeah.
He was great in both of them. So over a long haul, is he as good as Jaden Daniels? Of course not. Jaden Daniels might be generational for all we know. But Marcus Mariota was, the last we saw him, he was nothing short of awesome.
Well, and it's one of those, I guess both these quarterbacks we're about to talk about, same thing. You don't have to mix up the offenses, right? Like, it's same
Right.
player types enough that they can run the same thing.
Last thing here, Tyrod Taylor, if he ends up playing, because Justin Fields is in protocol, concussion protocol, Jets taking on the Bucs at Tampa. He's the hardest one to read because this dude has been in the league for 15 years now. This is his 15th year. He's only played 3 full seasons. That was with Buffalo back between 2015 to 2017. Last we saw him in any kind of long stretch, 2023, when he was with the Giants, he's kind of middling. He had a 48.6 QBR, 5 touchdowns, 3 picks. And then before that, it was 2021 when he was with the Texans. He played 6 games. He also had a 46.4 QBR. So he's like as middling as you possibly can get. He does good things. He does bad things. He doesn't kill you with turnovers. He's a credible backup quarterback. Coming back with baseball, Mark Borchard next.
There's no better time to join VSiN Pro. Right now, get started for just $9.99 for your first 30 days or save 50% off with an annual subscription. As a Pro user, you'll get our newly updated NFL betting guide, as well as the college football betting guide, the ultimate playbook packed with expert picks, team previews, and best bets. Plus, you'll unlock exclusive features like real-time betting splits, daily best bets, and full access to the VSiN Watch app. Don't miss out. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe and join us on the Sports Betting Network. Get your edge this season with VSiN's College Football Betting Guide, exclusive to VSiN Pro subscribers. It's packed with 136 team previews, preseason top 25 rankings, and best bets from our experts. Pro subscribers also get the NFL Betting Guide, daily best bet emails, exclusive splits, and full access to our premium betting tools. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe for just $9.99 for your first 30 days. Or save 50% with an annual Pro subscription and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Make your Tuesday bets count at Bracco. Use code VSiN and every deposit comes with a 50% welcome bonus up to $100. Plus cashback-style monthly rewards no matter if you win or lose. Stack that with global contests and free-to-play games, and you're always in action with real prizes and bragging rights. Join today and experience promotions that keep paying you back at playbracco.com. That's BRACCO. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Always appreciate the feedback from everybody. This is from Forrest Lehman. JVT just said, are the Colts the third best team in the AFC? Out loud. Might have heard an Angels World Series Clippers WNBA title parlay. Also, good thing he's objective. Welfare check immediately, please. Well, at least he was asking. Did he say that they were the third best team? It sounds like he was asking. Jesse Welch. We have to be getting some Paul Carr this week because I'm super bummed that the Ringer put a stop to their soccer pod. Oh, no. He says, I need some more chain moving. We'll get Paul on this week. The numbers, guys. Those games almost woke me up last night. Also, got some pretty good CLV on the Bengals and Falcons at DraftKings for Week 3. Question, if I do this every week, will this practice get a square like me limited? If you're betting a lot of money and you keep getting ahead of the CLV courtesy of guessing lines, then maybe. So, yeah, be careful. Michael Burns, Nuff said, he said, this is, we were just talking about the running backs, Omarion Hampton and Ashton Genty, and I was just saying, drafting running backs in the first round is a weird thing. You drafted Omarion Hampton, you're not even using him that much, and Ashton Genty remains to be seen if he's not interchangeable with everybody else. Our preseason thoughts aside, Matt Brown, our own Matt Brown, texted last night, I didn't see this. Both of these teams have gone for it on 4th and 1 tonight, talking about the Raiders and Chargers, and not had their running back that they spent a first-round pick on out there to try and convert, said 4th and 1. Mark Bono lets me in on also a Carson Wentz thing from Ari Meirop. Carson Wentz will start, when he starts with the Vikings this weekend, this will be his start for his 6th team in 6 seasons, which is something no quarterback in NFL history has ever done. Eagles 2020, Colts 2021, Commanders 2022, Rams 2023, Chiefs 2024, Vikings 2025. It's amazing. And let me just say this also, because we were talking about this a little off the air. Carson Wentz and RG3 have something in common. The both of the names spark like a guffaw, like a laugh, like a from some people with football. Think how unfair it is to both of those guys. Carson Wentz was like MVP caliber, then blew out his knee. Mm-hmm. Didn't get to win that Super Bowl, right? Nick Foles did. Maybe they don't win it with Carson Wentz. I don't know. But it's such a hard luck way to go about your career. RG3 Rookie of the Year blows out his knee, and everybody mocks him after that, right? So it's like what could have been with both of those? Yeah. You never know. All right. Mark Borchard joins us from an undisclosed location in the desert because there are less than 2 weeks left in the baseball season. We need some clarification here. Mark, of course, can be found at BaseWinner, basewinner.com. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing good, Gil. I think that they're trying to make more of the playoff race than actually is there. Unfortunately, I'd like to see the Diamondbacks get in. And you think, well, they're only a game and a half back. But I think that the talent disparity, I think that Mets team's, to me, valuable I think they're minus 275. I think they should be like minus 400 to make it. But, stranger things have happened this year. This has been kind of a wild year. I heard you talking about, sorry to take over the conversation, Please. But I heard you talking about Cleveland yesterday, and they're like my 24th ranked team. And in the and then so I ran. Yeah, so I ran the simulations for the month, who's going to win the month, and Philly's right there now, 38% chance to win the month of September, but Cleveland's 21%, even with that 24th ranking, and then Seattle, who I have, is 13%. But it's just one of those things where you see that, and I hear you talking with Adam all the time about it, and I'm kind of on your side from a probability standpoint.
Well, what Mark's referring to, for those who don't know, is my favorite season win total before the season was Cleveland under 82.5. Adam Burke, Cleveland fan, went the other way. We have a dinner bet on it. And Cleveland with a fairly non-negligible negative run differential, and now Mark piling on by saying he has them as the 24th ranked team in all of Major League Baseball. These guys are 78 and 71 baseball, man. It is just so frustrating.
Well, and the other thing too is if you look, their xFIP is league average, but their weighted runs created plus is 85, and I think that's That's third worst in baseball. The only teams that are worse than them offensively, and that's using weighted runs created plus what they've done so far. So they found a way to win without offense. The only teams worse than them weighted runs created plus year to date are the Rockies and the Pirates, Gil. So
great. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
This is wonderful.
Yeah.
Betting, where you can set yourself up for success, and then the teams actually have to follow through on everything. By the way, Mark referred to September wins. Can we do the September wins update, guys, and then we'll throw on the odds to this? So Philadelphia is winning. For those who bet the Phillies, you are in the driver's seat here halfway through the month of September. Well, more than halfway because there's less than 2 weeks left, really. Phillies are 11-3. The aforementioned Guardians are 10-4. Then you got the Blue Jays, Mariners, Orioles, and Nats. Of course, the Orioles and Nats are in there, all with 9 wins. Nationals are 9-5. The others are 9-4. So that's where it stands. And in terms of the odds, you can actually bet these now still at DraftKings with a little less than 2 weeks left. Phillies are plus 110. If you like the Guardians or any of the other teams I mentioned, Guardians are plus 360 to have the most wins in the month of September, and then you see everybody else's odds. Mariners plus 650, Blue Jays plus 950. The Nats, 2 wins back, are 20-1, as are the Orioles at 22-1. Interesting. Okay, so Blue Jays are going to win the East. They got a 5-game lead. Tigers going to win the Guardians. Again, not clinched, but it looks like that's going to happen. Phillies clinch the East. In the National League, Brewers have already clinched the Central. Not clinched, but they're going to win the Central. The only 2 divisions that are really up for grabs, Mariners have a half-game lead over the Astros in the AL West and a 3.5-game lead over the Rangers in the AL West. The Dodgers still 2 games up on the Padres in the NL West. Do you see those changing at the top, Mariners and Dodgers?
I don't. But I do see a little bit of value with the Padres. I think to win the division, they're like plus 425, and I have them with a 30% chance, which is better than that. I think. Let me just see what that is. Plus 233 is what they should be.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a little bit of value there. You know, the Mariners are in. Astros race is interesting because I actually have it about 50-50, a little bit edge to the Astros, but I'm really bullish on the Mariners moving forward.
Yeah.
They're the third for me. They're the second ranked team if you look at their components from bullpen starters and hitting and fielding as well. They're number 2 in baseball. And number 1 is these Yankees. So I wouldn't count the Yankees out yet. I know they've been really disappointing. You know, I went on told last week and said how great that bullpen was, and then they just epically imploded against the Tigers two nights in a row. And I think that they're better than they've shown.
So what you're saying is,
games.
So what you're saying is Yankees and Mariners for pennant and World Series might have some value. Just not.
I think they do. You know, just looking at the numbers, looking at the Sims, and I don't think he'd be wrong just playing both of those teams. And you know, Toronto's been. I mean, what do they won? Like 1 million straight games. And you know, interesting about Toronto, Gil, they're 5th the payroll, and this is surprising to me because I was looking at payroll today. They're number 5 in baseball. So it goes like Dodgers, Mets, Yankees, Phillies, and then Blue Jays. So interestingly enough, the teams that spend the most money are all up there in the playoffs. So
Blue Jays have won 5 straight games. Or as Mark Borchers said, 1 million in a row for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, boom.
And then it seems like it.
And then the wild card, which you alluded to, Cleveland and Texas, both 3 games behind the Astros right now for the final wild card in the AL. Again, about 12 games left, give or take a game for everybody here at this point. And then in the NL, I mean, it is a logjam. Mets, 1.5 game lead over the Diamondbacks now, who beat the Giants yesterday. The Giants and Reds both 2 back. Obviously, tiebreakers matter. Giants are really 3 back, if you want to know the truth, based on tiebreaker. But you think the Mets stave off everybody, is what you said?
I do. I have an 81% chance to do it. And, I mean, the bullpen's good. The hitting's good. I don't see as much as I'd like to see the Diamondbacks get them. I don't think they're going to do it, Gil.
All right, what'd you land on today, Mark?
Well, today's an interesting card. Of course, the base winner parlay. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to go Pittsburgh first 5, and I know there's a buzz around Cade Horton, but I just think that you look at some of his advanced numbers, Gil, and so I'm looking at Horton's base winner ERA, and it's actually below average, 4.32, and that's strikeout percentage, walk percentage, ground ball rate. Against Skeens at a 2.81, and I just think we just have a quality pitching advantage that first 5. And then course, I'm going to go with the Yankees, Gil. I like this Yankees team. They're the best hitting team by the numbers. They're the second best bullpen team by the numbers. And they're going against a 25th bullpen and a 17th hitting team with the Twins. And I think we actually get an edge. Schlittler's been really good stuff, plus 95th percentile strikeout percentage. Last 17 median, 95th percentile. I think Yankees maybe play it on the run line as well and then put it as the second leg of the base winner parlay. So first 5 Pittsburgh and Yankees full game, and that pays a plus 173 today, Gil.
All right, Pittsburgh first 5, Yankees full game parlay. Any straights before you leave? One? No?
Yeah, I can give you. Let's go. Let's go with this Mariners team. I've got them priced like closer to minus 180, and this is the third best hitting team in baseball. And I still Gilbert's numbers still look really good. 90th percentile strikeout rate, BBK .17, and location plus 78th percentile. So let's go with the Mariners today.
Mariners over the Royals. Mark Borchard, everybody, base winner. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it as always.
Boom. Thanks, Gil. Take it easy.
You too, my man. Survivor next, week 3, numbers game. VSiN, Sports Betting Network.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool day. Stadium Swim is the only thing like it in the world.
Join the guru, John Hansen, at the intersection of prop betting and fantasy sports on Prop Points, only on VSiN.
And shout out to Elijah Moore as well. Oftentimes he's Elijah less. Keep in mind, Sean Payton is evil for fantasy football.
John and his guests will help you find the connection between the two and give you his expert advice on how to capitalize when a number is too good to pass up. Prop Points, weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
The season may have started, but you can still jump into the VSiN Average Joe contest, sponsored by Edge Boost. Each week you make 7 picks, NFL or college, and the best score of the week wins $500. That is, unless you have an Edge Boost account already, then it's $1,000 every week. And if that's not enough, there are quarterly prizes too. Airfare to Las Vegas and a free 2-night stay at Circa Resort. And your chance to be on a VSiN show. You might even meet Kelly Bidlin.
Whoa!
Free to play, and you can enter anytime at VSiN.com/Joe. That should be a bullet point, and you might get to meet Kelly Bidlin.
$3 for a signed picture.
Is that what you charge?
And you got to bring the picture too.
Are you like Peace and Love 25? Is that what you sign it? Kelly Bidlin. That's how we used to do it in KMBL. Peace and Love 98 or something like that.
No, you won't get anything like that from me.
I want to say a couple of things here. One, just the guessing lines thing from yesterday. Remember how last week, incredulous about the Bears line against the Lions, incredulous about the Vikings line against the Falcons. We got super CLV, those manifested in wins. Same thing about Pittsburgh, that did not manifest in a win. But guessing lines, the exercise, proving itself once again. Well, already yesterday I made the 3 bets on guessing lines, right? The Falcons, which I bought down to 3, is now 5 in favor of the Falcons on the road against the Panthers. The Bengals, and obviously there was a quarterback deal here as well, it was 2.5. I got 3.5 yesterday. What was the other one? The Titans plus 3.5. Where's the Titans? Are we ahead of that one as well already? Let's see. Where is it hiding me from?
3.5.
3.5. So same place for Titans. 3.5 still. Okay, so there you go. But just promoting something from tomorrow. We got a question yesterday on Twitter. Forgive me, I forgot who the gentleman was who wanted to know about this. He noticed that I bought down to the 3 on the Falcons. And he was like, hey, like, why you do that? Drew, who's coming up later, Drew Dinsick, and Andy, they hate buying points. They say it's bad. And I said, well, I'm not really a buying points guy. I just kind of did it in the moment when I was on the show and I was making a bet. And he's like, oh, I noticed that about you. You are not really a guy who buys. Why did you at that time? I was like, oh, I was just doing it midstream while we're doing a show, and I was punching the buttons. So tomorrow on the show, we're going to have Elihu Feustel. Elihu Feustel, for those who don't know, is an author of gambling books. He is, to me, the most egregious person not in the Sports Gambling Hall of Fame. He should be in the Sports Gambling Hall of Fame for all the stuff he's done. I was reared on his newsletters at Pinnacle in the 90s when he ghost wrote it as Simon Noble. He was Justin 7 on SBR, the forums answering everybody's question. Anyway, tomorrow he will tell us when is the proper time to buy points or to sell points. He's going to tell us tomorrow.
Yeah, looking forward to that conversation.
It's literally like the Annie Hall, Woody Allen. If only, pulling Marshall McLuhan from behind the curtain to tell the people in the line that were annoying him, I've heard everything you've saying. You know nothing about my work. And Woody Allen looks at the screen and goes, if only life were like this. Well, Elihu Feustel is our Marshall McLuhan. We'll bring him out tomorrow.
Yeah, it's always, for me, it's always been one of those personal preference kind of situations. Like, you know what you're paying for if you're buying points. And we could ask Drew about it. I feel like I don't do nearly as much buying or selling of half points these days, but I definitely have never done much selling of them before. And you're right, Drew and Andy do talk about that fairly often.
All right, Circa Survivor. Hit it. No?
I'm a survivor.
I was going to say she interrupts all the other time now. She's supposed to sing. She doesn't. Here again is the updated Circa Survivor through 2 weeks. Historicals, the 6 years of Circa Survivor. Look at this year through 2 full weeks. Last year, 72.8% of all entries eliminated through 2 weeks. This year, a record low and by far 9.36% through 2 weeks. That's it.
What's my intrinsic value up to that? Did I gain another $100 last night or something?
I'm glad you asked,
like
Kelly.
$72 last night tack on there?
Oh, you ready?
Yeah, what we got?
All right, you're going to need security out of here.
I'm selling 49% of my entry.
$1,000 per entry. Now, actual retail value of each and every one of your entries, $1,103.27.
Cash out.
Chop it.
Chop it.
Still 16,966 entries left. That is more than started Circa Survivor last year.
If you could organize a chop at this point, Circa Survivor, you would have accomplished the greatest feat in humanity ever.
Hey, Jeff Benson, could you put us in touch with everybody? Could you connect everybody for a chop? Okay, so as far as week 3, people seem to like this last week when I did, here are the 8 biggest spreads, here are the 4 I won't consider, here are the 4 I will. And by the way, of those 8, all 7 of the 8 got through. The only one that didn't was the Vikings. And I said that was one of my 4 that I wouldn't consider. This week, there are 7 larger spreads than the others, not 8, because the 8th, Washington, is no longer a big spread because of the Jaden Daniels uncertainty. So of the 7 that remain of the biggest spreads on the board, Kelly, here are the 4 that I am not considering playing. The Baltimore Ravens are 6-point favorites against the Detroit Lions. I almost said Tigers. Baltimore Ravens, 6-point favorites against the Detroit Lions. Now, the Lions are good at football. That's the first thing. And you have other opportunities that are better to use the Ravens if you still have them. If you didn't use them last week, that is. Or if you have multiple entries and you only used them on some, and you can consider them in the first place. The Ravens play the Bears at home week 8. They're also at Miami week 9. So those, to me, are both better than playing the Lions this week. Mm-hmm. And oh, by the way, this Thanksgiving game that they are playing, and remember, for Circa players, they host the Bengals on Thanksgiving. Before this past week, I had said, well, I'm going to shove all on the Eagles the day after Thanksgiving because the Eagles host the Bears. But now with Jake Browning versus Joe Burrow, despite all the lovely things we said about Jake Browning, maybe if you still have Ravens availability, maybe you do consider playing the Ravens on Thanksgiving now. And so I would not play the Ravens this week. The Packers are 8-point favorites at Cleveland, Kelly. There's a number of times to me that are better to play the Packers. Most notably, perhaps, week 9 hosting Carolina, week 11 at the Giants, week 14 hosting the Bears. I mean, there's lots of chances that are perhaps better than this to use the Packers. So I'm not going to play them here at Cleveland, though some may still opt to. Atlanta Falcons, who are now 5-point favorites at Carolina. I mean, I just have to go to, they play a home game against Carolina later in the year, right? And a home game against New Orleans, although that game, who knows if it will have, will the implications mean that the Falcons will have to sit players or will have the luxury of sitting players, just projecting forward. They also have a home game against the Dolphins week 8. So I don't love this as a road game to play in Survivor. And then the fourth one that is of the bigger spreads that I am not going to play, Kansas City Chiefs are 5.5-point favorites at the Giants. For Circa players, they are at Dallas Thanksgiving, and they host the Broncos on Christmas. Maybe those are considerations for you because maybe by then the Chiefs will be back to being the Chiefs. They'll have Worthy, they'll have Rashee Rice. They'll be a different team.
I was going to say, not only is it the holiday, hang on for the holidays, but you can't tell me the Chiefs are playing their best football of the season right now.
Can we go back to that, guys, one last second before I just want to finish that graphic real quick before we move on to the ones I am considering. And the Chiefs have other times to play, right? Week 7, they host the Raiders. Week 12, they host the Colts. Apologies to Colts fans. Week 16, they're at Tennessee. So there's Thanksgiving, there's Christmas. They're just not at full strength now. They just don't have enough weapons to confidently play them. So those are 4 big spreads: Ravens, Packers, Falcons, Chiefs. I'm not going to play. The 3 I am considering, and like last week, I will say my Survivor allocation with my 6 entries will come from this group. Don't know what the divvying up will be, but it will come from these 3 teams in some form. The Buffalo Bills, Thursday night, 12.5-point favorites, so the biggest favorite on the board. They're hosting the Miami Dolphins. Short week. Does it scare me a little more than it should? Probably. Do I think the Bills should be less of a favorite than they are? Yes, as described on Guessing Lines yesterday. But, and they have other games that perhaps are more fun for some. Week 4, next week, in fact, versus New Orleans. Week 8 at Carolina, week 16 at Cleveland, maybe other considerations. But it's still comfortable enough for me to play some of my entries on the Bills.
Good thing they get extra rest before that Saints game.
That's right.
It's going to be a tough 2 weeks.
So, yeah, I mean, maybe I play some of them. Maybe I play some of them next week against the Saints, okay? But the Bills are definitely going to be part of this. The other 2, Tampa Bay, 7-point favorites against the Tyrod Taylor-led Jets, perhaps, if Justin Fields doesn't get out of protocol. Even though Tampa Bay has at New Orleans week 8, home New England week 10, home New Orleans week 14, and then a Carolina home game, which who knows if Tampa Bay will need to suit up for that one or not. I do think that there is some allocation of my entries. Some are going to be on the Bucs. By the way, by some, maybe I'm talking about one of them, maybe I'm talking about 2 of them. But I do think this is an opportunity to use the Buccaneers.
Yeah, they're only one of 2 teams I'll be considering this week.
Okay, the third is the Seattle Seahawks, and when it comes to future value, this is the team that makes the most sense. I think I don't know if the biggest percentage is going to be on the Bills Thursday night, but it could be the Seahawks, who are 7.5-point favorites hosting the New Orleans Saints. Really, there's only another home game versus Minnesota, which might not please some folks as being easier. And then there's an at Carolina all the way December 28th. So hosting New Orleans here, I think Seattle is going to be the most popular pick. And so maybe optimally, you want to